outside, move it.
Moving. I would say all of them will probably be on small fires in our districts, but we also respond to fires all throughout Jefferson County and the surrounding counties. And I would say over half of this wildland fire training is teaching them how fire behaves in the wildland, to be alert to the signs of problematic fire and extreme fire behavior starting to kick up. They get a lot of weather. Inversion braking is a big watch out. And there's an adrenaline rush. You can imagine the excitement and the sound and the roar if this whole crown came, this was a big running crown fire coming through here, and the energy and the power that the fire has. It's amazing. Sounds like a 747 taking off over your head, and you can feel the heat on your face a quarter of a mile away.
When you join the fire department, you start out as a yellow hat. The yellow helmet signifies you as a new person on the department to both yourself as well as those around you, to help watch out for you, to help teach you, to help mentor you on the fire ground.
Well, I think safety is a huge concern in the firefighting industry, and with volunteers, we train them. We teach them about safety and the things that will get them in trouble and the things they should do and be aware of, things they shouldn't do, and the warning signs and the watch outs, so that they're never in a situation where they're going to get hurt. There's nothing worth the life of a firefighter that can't be replaced. And firefighters will risk a lot to save a life, but they're not going to risk a lot to save a tree.
Marvin.
Here.
Get fire.
There's a number of people here are, cadets at Academy, and I'm part of the Academy of this year. So we'll be graduating after this.
Calling out weather about once an hour on the radio. People are going to be taking weather, so you guys pay attention to that.
Here, these are all volunteers on fire departments in Jefferson County.
Remember who's in front of you, who's behind you. Because it may matter. If we need to get out in a fast situation or if something happens, you gotta have your ones and twos. Guy in front of you, guy behind you. Questions, don't hesitate to ask, but we're here to work.
Yeah, keep in mind, only the Fairmount guys have gone through some tool use. These other Academy guys have not. So you Fairmount guys help those other guys out that haven't used a tool before.
Moving forward, you guys make sure it's cleaned up. Keep in mind, and if you need them to take more, you need to pass it up the line. That's the distance you want to have separated between yourselves, because anything that happens, you got a lot more room to be able to move. You're gonna get paid, and look up.
Everybody look up, get down, get down, get down.
Get down.
All right, that's much better. You guys hear bad drop? There ain't no looking around. Bad drop, you hit the ground.
I've worked with firefighters from Maine to Alaska and Texas to Montana. You make friends all over the country, and even if you don't remember their names, you remember them, they remember you. And firefighters, it's a great group of people, because it's people who like to go out and not just fight fire, but help other people. They get a big satisfaction out of helping somebody in an emergency.
It's amazing in these fires, so it may be far away, you might be far away, but as you're coming closer, all of a sudden you have an army of individuals all working for the same goal. So you have maybe a hand crew that's dropping trees, you'll have engine crews that are spraying water on the fire, you'll have another hand crew that's maybe digging line.
Satisfaction.
I have no idea.
The reward of helping somebody on their worst day of their life. If they're calling us, they're not having a good day. Been doing this 20 years as a volunteer, and I just love it. And I dedicate my life to it. I own a business and have a family, but always seem to make time for the fire department.
It's just a club almost. I hate to call it a club, it's not, because everybody's very professional. Everybody takes the job very serious because it is a serious job and it's serious work. But you do make a difference, and you make a difference in somebody's life sometime. And I just can't tell you the satisfaction you get from that. You know, best thing we get is a card in the mail at the fire station thanking us for helping somebody do something or saving their house or whatever.
I'm the open space manager. We do a lot of fire mitigation work. I joined the fire department is so I could be better at my job. However, I found out that I actually really like wildland fire. It's almost, I hate this, it's primal, you know, it's what I get out of it is very, at the base level, satisfying.
I would say the learning has been really, I think, one of the coolest parts. For me, also as a female, I just feel more capable in doing a lot of things that I guess I wouldn't have done. So I never operated a chainsaw or, it's just things that may have been, sort of a man's job, if you will. I just feel more capable. I can shut off, power. I could shut off, gas to a house, like things like that. I would have never known that before I went through this experience.
I mean, it is honestly helping, your community, right? And it was with Genesee that when I signed up, but not just Genesee, but Foothills, and we do all this mutual aid. I've worked with you guys before, Red Rocks community, and it's bigger than that probably, right? It's anyone, it's mankind, it really is. It's people that, that you can help, and they're giving us the skills, and we're putting them to the test here. Again, I think we're all, I won't speak for others, but I think, there's all that similar just belief, right? That inherent belief that, we are there to help. And so you get those people with that mindset together, and, the willpower and the tenacity, and I think so the camaraderie is just it's a fallout. That's what happens when you get people like that want to help.
Just the amount of material that I learned was incredible. Like you're just every day you're building on what you learned previously. You're just building it, and so Fairmount gives me an opportunity to really build up those skills, which I enjoy a lot. I just really enjoy taking the hose into the building and putting water on the fire. I mean, that's really fun. It's hard and it's physical, and I just like that kind of stuff. So it's been really beneficial in many ways.
The great thing about being volunteer is we have the money that comes in for wonderful ambulances, wonderful equipment, wonderful training captains, and that way we're always prepared. I've been a paramedic for 4 years now. I worked at Highland for a year and a half, and it's very, very fun up there.
I always felt that it was kind of difficult just going through life consuming, right? So I wanted to give a little bit back, and I'm just not one to stand still because I'm too much of a empty vessel. I need stimuli. So the fire department was a great, move for that.
I worked in New York City as a banker for several years. I was there during 9/11. I felt like it was important to volunteer in some capacity to support our community. And after my experience in New York City and having lived, living 4 doors down from the fire station, I felt like the volunteer fire department was the way I could give back.
If something is going bad, that I have the skills and the capabilities to make it better, maybe not good, but better. So that's, I guess, my gut reaction. Plus, I know it makes me a better person. Here in Genesee, we've had a couple of wildland fires, not huge, doesn't make the news, but still we have a lightning strike that might hit out in open space or actually on a house and start a little grass fire, sometimes some trees torch. We've had a couple to the west of us.
All firefighters in the state of Colorado, with very few exceptions, they have to meet the same state certification requirements whether they're volunteer or career. So, and that includes all the, the safety and training requirements that go along with that. It's really up to you how much you want to learn and how far you want to go.
I'm training to be a driver, operator at the moment. I decided to do the driving because actually that's one of the assignments that I think is particularly good for a female. I was asked, so it's it's by invitation in terms of how they select each year's class to be the DO.
So we know we're going to do the initial primary search while doing a size up. You'll be setting your pump.
Okay. Your job is really positioning the apparatus in the right place on a call, making sure that you are, if you need water, that you're next to a hydrant or water supply, and then you've got to get water flowing.
As a volunteer, right, we are on call. So we have to live within the district to get to respond in time.
I think the rule of thumb is that when the tone drops, if you can go, go. You know, it happens at all hours of the day. For a lot of us that are professional, that have, you know, a work outside of the fire department, is, you know, you just do what you can. I can be out the door in 30 seconds. I have shoes, and I sort of have everything staged by my garage, which is where my exit to go out. And so I can be out the door in 30 seconds.
I've been on the department for 13 years, and I actually just saw the sign that said volunteers needed, and was sort of in a transitional period in my life with work. So I stopped in and filled out the application, and they accepted me. So I fly out of Denver International, and with even a weird schedule like that, I'm able to still participate and get all my training in, and still run quite a few calls during the year.
I've been doing this 23 years, both as a volunteer and career. And before that, I was a CPA, and I'd much rather do this. It's a lot more job satisfaction. It's like I told my wife, I'm going to live a lot longer from doing this than I would have in my high-stress CPA job.
We have the Mobile Live Fire Training Unit, which we at the Division of Fire Prevention and Control received as a grant from the Assistance for Firefighters grants. And what the purpose of the trailer is for allowing fire departments and firefighters to have the experience with live fire in a very safe and controlled environment.
The question is, how was it in the burn building, the simulation building, right? We learn how to do the technical portion of it, but it's the cohesiveness of the team, you know, which really comes together in these type of practices. Because not only are we going into the building to provide safety for property and people, but our number one priority is safety for each other. So we don't want to become a victim ourselves. You have very little visibility, you have your adrenaline up, and what these simulations allow us to do is to make sure that we keep ourselves calm, make sure our team members are in front of us, behind us, you know, and take care of what needs to be done in such a fashion that we all leave together. Other than all that, it's a lot of fun.
Okay, just do the bunker gear. You have to do neck shroud. You have to do the hood.
Yeah.
And then the hat and gloves.
Oh, I thought the helmet.
All right. Sorry.
There's a real sense of family and a real sense of community around here. And not only should you expect to benefit from that, but you should expect that to be part of your experience here. Your family should and will be involved around here. And they need to be supporters of, you know, of anybody who decides to join this fire department, you know, your spouse, your children, everybody needs to understand, you know, it's a family affair and everybody's got to be in for you to be successful.
Flight for Life is coming in today for our open house, and it's good practice for us because anytime that we do have a medical call that requires an evacuation by helicopter, we have to be available to land the helicopter.
Yes, ma'am. We're showing about 2 minutes out for you guys.
Very good. It looks like we have about a 5-knot wind out of the southeast, and your overhead hazards here, we've got some trees, antenna, a light pole, and our aerial ladder is extended.
10-4, have you safe?
Thank you. We have you too. We'll have an engine with a charged hose line and 2 firefighters on the line in case anything happens with the helicopter while it's landing. We also, as we've done here today with our parking area, try to hose down the loose gravel and debris so that the helicopter doesn't stir up as much debris when it lands.
Hey, my name is Neil McCollum. I'm a flight nurse with Flight for Life Colorado. Well, actually, most of the fire departments kind of have an LZ already picked out for us. They can tell us basically what the winds are doing. They can tell us what kind of scene we're heading into, which way the winds are coming from. They can tell us the condition of the patient, generally what we're going to do. So basically, they have a ground contact, contacts us through our pilot. We actually assist our pilot with finding landing zones. We'll assist him with GPS coordinates. And sometimes we'll actually do the active talking to the fire personnel on the ground as well. They generally tell us the mechanism of the injury, what happened. Was it a car accident, a motorcycle accident, a burn in a lot of cases, falling from rocks, falling from trees. And they'll give us a general idea of whether we have an advanced airway on the patient. They can tell us if we have an area of bleeding that we actually have to contain. Things like that. So they can really give us a good idea of what we can be prepared to do once we get into the ambulance or into the firehouse.
Okay, so this is an AS-350, the A-Star. We fly this aircraft in this area because it's rated, it's a high altitude aircraft. So only aircraft that's landed at the peak of Mount Everest. And you know, we're at station. The fire department will call us and ask us to respond to car accident, heart attack, stroke, and from there we'll load up, respond, and then while we're en route we'll start talking to them on the radio, and they'll give us the ground conditions, patient information, and come in and land, and then the medical crew does their job, and we'll load them up, and then I go back to work and get them out of there. But we do a lot of PRs with the fire department, and then a lot of search and assists with the fire department, and then mostly rollover accidents, car accidents are the big ones that we do with the fire department.
Being a volunteer here is you're not stuck in the seat with the tool. You get to do everything. Started off as a recruit like me, and with my yellow hat, then went to engineer, did rope rescue, EMT. Wildland is really where I love and want to be, so I'm the wildland coordinator, now a lieutenant. But and that's in 8 years, just kind of working your way through it, learning more.
Everybody I've talked to said it's been the most rewarding experience of their lives. So so it's very compelling. We are having a baby in October, so my wife's a little hesitant about it, but we're hoping we can fit that in.
Yeah, so. You know, when I first started, I just got married and had my first kid within the first year. So I know exactly what you're saying.
I've done a lot of volunteer work, a lot of like international travel, with building houses, doing things. I'm looking for something meaningful to do. I work a 9-to-5 job and want something, that I can come home and feel proud about.
I would say that you should always do something in your life that brings a bit of value to others.